Hello, and welcome back to my bed. So, it has been 5 whole months since last I streamed, and I gotta say, I've fallen a bit out of the habit, and that's exactly why I needed to return today. Return with a whole new light and life and mission or something like that. So, truth be told, I'm not really sure what I'm going to say. I just felt very much compelled to be here today. You know me, I tend to just use these streams kind of like my diary, essentially. Just getting stuff off my chest, a little therapy session. One thing, also, last I saw you, I had a different computer. I got a new one because my other one, I can't remember if I told you guys or not, but my other one exploded randomly one day. I was doing some work and I was out on my balcony and I had a bunch of tabs open and I randomly decided that I was going to try and do a little video. So I was recording some for my bullet journal. So I was recording some bullet journal stuff. Um, And then all of a sudden I noticed that my screen was a bit bowed and I was like, well, what's going on here? So I brought it inside where it was a bit cooler and took it to the Geek Squad, and the battery in my old computer was on the precipice of exploding. So I got a new one. And the thing is this computer is much nicer than the other one that I had. It's definitely nicer, but I feel like the camera on the other one had like better colors. I don't know how to explain. So noticing that did kind of make me go, made me wonder if maybe I should just start pre-recording videos so I can do color correction and stuff, because it just looks a little washed out. I don't know. I don't know what to do about that. It's my laptop camera, so it is what it is. Anyway, this is not where I expected to be tonight, this evening, right now. In fact, tonight was going to be a night where I was social for the first time in actually quite a while. But today, things just did not go as planned. I woke up and I was just feeling a little on edge for whatever reason, having a bit of a rough mental health day, one could say. But not bad, not bad. Saturday, so I just kind of let myself chill. And then last second, I'm like trying to get ready. I was going to go to this ladies' night event thing, and honestly, I was pretty nervous about it, but I was also excited to try and put myself out there and try to make some new friends. It was going to be like swimming pools and hot tubs and mimosas and games and silent auctions, and it sounded like a really fun night. And an old friend of mine who I haven't seen for years, she was an old coworker actually, and I just haven't seen her since those days. And so I really appreciated that she was trying to reconnect, and I wanted to go to this event. And then mental health, I was having a day today. I do tend to get a little bit of anxiety just anyways. Honestly, this used to just be my constant state. I almost feel like, I don't know, the pandemic kind of gave me something that I always wanted, which is to just sit and be alone and not have to talk to people all of the time. And I have definitely made really good use of that. But now it's gotten to the point where The thing is I used to be anxious, is I used to just always be doing events and going out and doing all of this stuff, but I was always having this intense anxiety about it, but I would just push myself to do it anyways, just trying to find some sort of meaning in life, trying to chase that dream. But now I guess I have a little bit of a new dream. And that new dream requires a lot of alone time. I've become quite the recluse, my dudes. Quite the recluse. Which is what I always wanted, to be fair. If I could have gotten away with just staying alone my whole life, never having to talk to anybody, never having to go out into the world, I would have preferred that. But luckily, I'll say luckily for me, I was not allowed to do that. I kind of got pushed out into the world, and it's been a very stressful time for me. It's been very stressful, but I gained a lot of new skills. I leveled up my character much more. Like, seriously, younger me couldn't talk at all. She had a very hard time just being in the world. I still do. I still do, is the thing. I still do to this very day. But I have learned to power through and mask those intense feelings of anxiety. It's always been a thing where it seems like everybody else feels good when they're around other people. And I mean, I do feel good around other people too. You know, there are those moments where you connect and you're having this social experience and you feel connected and it's transcendental. But then there's all the other time, which is usually how I feel, where it's just very anxious, just a lot of anxiety. Just a lot of anxiety. And I guess this is something that I'm realizing about myself, is the way that I was feeling, because I was going to go out tonight, but then between my mental health, just bawling, just crying, like I was so stressed about it that I just, I trying to go out to my car and I just start crying from just sheer stress, you know. And then there's a storm and I check the freeway, there's a terrible accident, and I'm actually really glad that I stayed in. As much as I really wanted to try to push myself to be social, as I really have been spending a lot of time alone. I've been enjoying it though, don't get me wrong. I've been enjoying myself. But I don't know. I I like to do things, you know. I feel sad if I don't have events and things throughout the year just to punctuate, because that's my preference, is I prefer long stretches of alone time punctuated by these moments of adventure. That's what I like best. So I was thinking to myself, time for an adventure. I'm actually really glad I didn't go on that adventure tonight, though, as much as I wanted to try, because not only I just, something about it just didn't feel, it just felt off, and the storm was going on, and the storm that started as a thunderstorm has transformed into a freaking blizzard, you guys. It's just snowing outside. It's March. It's been like 50, 60 degrees lately. I took a walk the other day and I was like, woo. I was wearing I bundled up. I was in like sweats and stuff, thinking it was going to be chilly. And it was beautiful. I was like sweating. It was warm outside. And now all of a sudden there's snow. There's snow out there. There's snow out there. There's snow. And not just a little bit of snow. Oh no. Too much. And so I'm actually very grateful that I didn't go to this event because it was a bit of a drive, it was about 40-minute drive away. And I hate driving in the snow. In fact, I just kind of hate the snow in general. I'd like to move somewhere where it doesn't ever snow ever. And I think I would be a happier person if I was just somewhere where it was warm most of the time. One of these times. One of these times. So, what have I been up to? Why did I drop off the face of the earth for 5 months? Well, I didn't drop off the face of the earth, just the face of the YouTube streamosphere. I've actually been doing, quite a lot in my life, and if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see I've been quite busy. In fact, just in February, I took part in this sort of art challenge thing called What the February, and it was a lot of fun. I want to talk about that. I might do a video dedicated to that. I'm trying to decide how I should do videos from now on, guys, because truth be told, I've always wanted to have a YouTube channel. It feels good. Like right now when I'm talking and I'm doing this, it makes me feel good. Um, I was looking through last month, I want to say it was. I was looking through my videos and I ended up looking through a bunch of like my old thumbnail images. And when I did, I felt this like sparking, in my heart. Do you hear that? Can you guys hear that? Somebody's like doing drums. There's drums playing right now. Can't tell if it's my neighbor or maybe it's downstairs. But I was looking through my old thumbnails and things, and when I was looking through them, I just felt this spark of like, wow, like this pride, this sort of like, I was proud of myself for doing those things. And there's something about YouTube that helps a person's self-esteem, I think, or at least it helps my self-esteem. And I've noticed in other people this sort of transformation as well, where it starts out one way and you can see the person building and building and growing as they go, You can see the person building and growing as they go. And that's kind of what I was noticing about myself when I was looking through and I was thinking, wow, I'm really, really critical of myself and my physical appearance and my hair update. I had lost quite a bit of hair and I have continued to lose hair, but a lot of it has grown back. As you can see, I've still got kind of a few bits that are on the sides. The sides are really the struggle part for me this moment, but it's getting there. But yeah, it's just looking at those thumbnails and thinking about all the heart and thought I put into just, I don't know, putting myself out there. And I missed it, A part of me was like, oh, I forgot about that. I forgot how that made me feel. But truth be told, guys, last you saw of me, I am a whole different woman, is all I've got to say about that. I am a whole different woman than I was 5 months ago when last you saw me. If you saw me 5 months ago. Maybe this is new to you. I don't know. If you find me at all. If you watch, if you even made this far in. I don't know how long this is going to go for, so sorry. I will make one of my goals is to make more succinct, deliberate videos. But for now, the goal of this video is just to get myself back in the YouTuber mindset, and kind of just shoot some ideas off. Yeah, I've got a lot a lot of things I could say. The last you saw of me, I was kind of going through some liminal space or other, in the corridor. I think I'm still in the corridor, but there's the light of a whole new world before me. I feel much better now. Last I had cut my hair because it was so falling out, and I just wanted to, it was a transformative act, you could say. There's that trope of cutting your hair and becoming a new person. Well, I did that, and then I seem to have returned back to the baseline a little bit, as you can see. But stronger and better, and with many new ideas to say. Because one thing that I've gone through in the past, more neighbors. Maybe I'll let them walk by before I continue yammering, because the walls in this apartment building are pretty thin. And I prefer a little bit of privacy for my live stream. Can you hear that? Anyway. I have a lot of different ideas to share. Oh, I am so different now. Like, the thing is I've been changing over the past couple of years. It's like I've really woken up, you could say. I've changed in a lot of ways. I've noticed things I didn't know before. The pandemic really changed me in a lot of ways, in all of the ways I was asking for, to be honest. Before, I was, worked for the local newspaper, and I was doing events, and I worked for a local concert venue, and I was just like always doing stuff. I was just this event girl, and I was just putting myself out there. I was going against my introvert nature to try and chase that dream, to try and chase that world. But truth be told, I'm living the life I always wanted to live more before, where, I freelance, I work on projects, I get to write, I get to do my arts, and I get to just spend a lot of time alone and in the quiet, and that's been really good for my mental health. Some part of me always knew that it would be, because the whole time where I was forced out into the world, there was this part of me that was just like, that just knew what I needed was some time and space alone, like some real solid time and space. And I think that's because part of me knew that I would thrive better. Like, I feel much healthier. As much as my life was more flashy before, you could say, I wouldn't say I was more happy. And that's the interesting thing, is I was constantly working events and I was really plugged in, to my city. But something about unplugging from all of that has allowed me to plug back in to me in really, really good ways. I feel so much more healthy. I feel so much more happy. It's all I've wanted the whole time, my whole life. And now I'm getting those things. You never know. You never know where you'll be. So don't give up. Keep pushing toward your dream. One of the biggest changes that I've been going through, guys, is this sense of like spirituality. I'm kind of considering making this my new focus in a way. My new focus, or one of my focuses, I used to think maybe I had to focus on just like one kind of video, but now I think, I don't know, maybe I need to create a format for myself because I find that I thrive if I create a format for myself to work from, it works better for me. So I'm still gonna I still need to figure that out. Truth be told, guys, I really don't like editing videos. I really don't. But I've since learned that, you know what? Maybe it doesn't have to be such an editing thing. I can make it more simple. I can do videos in my way, whatever that is. Um, but one thing that I want to talk about is spirituality and the kind of shift that I've experienced over the pandemic, and how I feel like in some ways I kind of got off on the wrong foot, and not just spirituality, but also like, I don't know, politically. I'm now aware that in the past I had fallen for some wrong ideas, you could say. And that's part of the reason why I kind of dropped off is some of the groups and people I was hanging out with. I just there was this weird struggle happening where I was no longer compatible with the ideas that were around me, but I had not yet learned enough new information to properly express this new perspective. I'm still getting there. I've learned a lot though. The last 5 months, I basically just dove in to these new ideas. When I was younger, I grew up Mormon in the Latter Day Saint Church, which is essentially an end times cult, essentially, that masquerades as like a family oriented religion. But really, there's a lot of weird stuff in there. And so that's what I kind of grew up in. But as I grew up, I noticed, as I grew, there were some things that weren't adding up. Like the more I learned, the less the ideas of that particular church made sense to me, and I went through a whole faith crisis. Got really mad. I mean, fair enough. You grow up your whole life being told that like you're gonna like you live with your family forever, and if you're super super extra good, the best of the Mormons, you get to have your own planet and you get to be like God and you get to live with God, and it's amazing, you know? The church has kind of been walking back their stance on like that that idea of like you getting your own planet. They said it though. They're trying to rewrite their history, but they said it. They said it. They told it to us. They told us we'd get our own planet. So it's kind of a rough transition to thinking like, oh, I'm going to live forever and get my own planet after death, and have my own world full of humans, tortured humans, I guess. Mm. Fighting for approval from Sky Mommy. Mm. But the church has tried to walk that idea back so much at this point that they they are totally redoing their visitor center right now. They're totally redoing it. They have this center with this statue of Jesus, and I've been there plenty of times, even after not being in the faith anymore, just because it's a cool statue. It's like this statue of Jesus, and he's like standing in this. It's like the dome. There's like this dome of stars and galaxies, and it looks really cool. Anyway, he kind of dang it, gosh, dang it, I'm sorry, colloquially, that's the word. Colloquially, he has sort of become called Space Jesus by all of the ex and non-Mormon people, and I think that they noticed that a lot of weird-looking hippie folk were checking out their visitor center and calling their statue Space Jesus. That's just my hypothesis that that's what happened. I went with my mom, who's still a believer, right before the pandemic and everything happened, and right before they tore the whole thing down. And I remember we were there at the Set Visitor Center, and she was like, "Oh, do you want to go?" Because they do these really cool lights for Christmas. It was Christmas time. It was Christmas right before the pandemic. And so I went and we checked out the lights. And then she was like, "You want to go to the visitor center?" And I'm like, "Okay." And I was like, "Sure, mom, let's go visit Space Jesus." And my mom got a kick out of it. And I could tell that the visitor center person seemed a little bugged at me calling the statue Space Jesus. But and that's also, why I think, just hypothesize that perhaps that's why they're redoing the visitor center. I bet you anything it's not going to be Space Jesus anymore when they're done. So anyway, I went through that, and then I went through this very angry atheist stage in my teens and very earliest of 20s. I was just very, very angry, and I had a real rough time. I was going through so much. You poor. I was so alone. I'm still so alone, to be fair. To be fair. Oh, and I just went through so much. I was so angry. I was so angry, and I got disowned from my family because I was the only one who at that point that had left the church, and I got disowned from my family. It was terrible. It was awful. It was hard. And so through this, I went to school and I went through this very angry atheist stage, and I started learning about, critical thinking and ideas like that. And then what happened, what came along, New Age spirituality. I went to college, and you know what? I made a lot of new friends, and some of those friends had some kind of kooky ideas that I hadn't heard before. Well, then again, I kind of did hear of them because I had watched The Secret, that movie. I'd watched The Secret, and I just scoffed in my angry atheist mode. Scoffed, made fun of the ideas, and I was like, "This is so stupid. Who would ever believe such a thing?" Fast forward a few years. To be fair, I think it happened, and here's the thing. I'm going to preface this by saying I do think there's something to it. Like this idea of manifesting and the magic of the world. I'm a little mad at myself for still believing it, and like the reawakened critical thinking sort of atheistic part of myself is also bugged at me for believing in magic in spite of everything and all that I've been through over this past years, even the past few years. I gotta say, I still believe in magic, and I kind of always have. Even when I was in my angry atheist phase, there was this little spark inside of me that just still believed weirdly in magic, and I guess I still kind of do. And I think that's something I want to explore because I recognize that it doesn't make sense. A part of me is even mad at me, and because I really dove into that stuff. I met some friends in college, and one of my very best friends, was like really into this stuff, and I'd never heard the ideas before, but I've always liked weird stuff and like spooky stories and strange tales. So at first I pushed back and I was like, "Dude, don't you think this sounds a little weird?" I was like, "Oh, I really like this person, This is one of my best friends." And I was like, "Don't you think this sounds a little weird though? Don't you think?" You know? And he was like, "Yeah, yeah, I know it sounds weird, but like trust me, you just gotta just suspend your disbelief." And so in my college days, I decided that I was like, you know what? This is the time to explore. I went from this atheistic phase into this somebody's shoveling snow out there. I went from this atheistic phase into this happier, honestly, and that's the crux of it, is I was happier suddenly. Because when you go from thinking that you're gonna like get a planet and stuff when you die to suddenly facing this reality that like you're probably just gonna die and then there's nothing, that's a rough transition. It's a very painful transition. And I think that this is just, I just kind of needed at that moment, you know, I just kind of needed that. It lit me up because I was like, this friend of mine, I didn't think he was dumb, you know. I thought some of these ideas were kooky, but I'm like, man, well, he's quite smart, and you know, he believes in these kinds of stuff. So, and I really just wanted, I needed something, you know, and that's kind of my new hypothesis, I guess, is that maybe you explore spirituality when you need it, and then maybe when you don't need it anymore, it kind of falls away. I guess that's kind of what I've been experiencing anyway, is it's like I don't need it the way that I used to. And so now, because I don't need it the way that I used to, one could argue that the law of attraction worked for me, since now I'm living the life of my dreams. It took a lot of time and it took a lot of work, though, so I don't know. Take that into account as well. But there was a divine aspect to it, I think. But I can't prove that, and I'm not going to like uh, say that I think that 100%, because this is the new stance that I'm taking, and it feels better, you know? It feels kind of better to let myself criticize these ideas, because at first I did. At first I was like, some of the stuff that I was being let in on, I was like, this sounds kind of weird, you know, this, I'm not sure about this. But I suspended my disbelief because I wanted to try, because that's the thing about these ideas of spirituality and law of attraction and other religions, you can argue, is you kind of, they tell you that in order for it to work, you have to believe. And so that's kind of what my college became for me, is this act of suspending my disbelief, allowing myself to re-dive into spirituality in a different way. Where before I was more like strictly religious. But I was like, well, maybe there is something to this. Like, humans have always been into spirituality and magic and stuff for, I don't know, as long as history. So I was like, maybe there's a reason for it. So then I started diving into all these ideas: law of attraction, witchcraft, you know, all kinds of stuff. All kinds. And I just, you know, Sufism, mysticism, Eastern mysticism, these ideas. And so I explored those ideas. And let me tell you, my critical theories teachers were not super pleased with me, I gotta say. But I was like, there was this part of me that was determined, you know, where I really like, because I started playing with these ideas and I started being like, well, I think there's something to this, as I was barely surviving and in an internal hellscape of the mind and things like that. You know, some part of me was like, maybe there's something to this through all of that. And you know what? I just kind of went with that, and it was fun, and it through the torturous aspects of life, it kept me going, and until I arrived here, kind of. It's interesting the way things kind of circle and meet, and kind of, I don't know. build. It's the way that things, it's that idea, that Ouroboros idea of like eating the tail. So I feel that, you hear these ideas of like time being a spiral and blah, 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 blah. What does that mean even? But if time is a spiral and we move through thematics in our lives, I feel that now is the moment where I have reconnected with that angry atheist part of myself, because this is the journey that I've realized over the past year, 2 years through the pandemic. I realized I had a lot of things that weren't exactly connecting correctly. And so I've kind of reawakened into a new wave of angry atheist, you could say. Angry atheist and newly invigorated political seeker. Because before, honestly, I really didn't think that much about politics that much. I was just kind of like, oh, I was taking the enlightened centrist stance, as a certain Pac-Man would say. And I just kind of held on to this enlightened centrist stance where I just felt like, and here's the propaganda that I fell for, is I kind of fell for this idea that like, oh, all ideas are exactly equal and you have to kind of treat all ideas equal, because that's kind of what I was doing, as I was taking all these crazy like spirituality ideas and I was like putting them on equal footing with the peer-reviewed critical theories that I was learning and things like that. And I guess I have since learned that there are problems with that. That's one of the big shifts over the past couple of years. And I'm like, wait, I have miscalculated some things. Trying to just listen to everyone and just trying to keep the peace, love, happiness, whatever. I feel like I kind of got lost in the mix a little bit doing that. And the pandemic really highlighted that for me, I gotta say, because it made me realize that a lot of this spirituality stuff is kind of like interlinked with a lot of conspiratorial thinking. And once I realized that the conspiratorial thinking, because I just, here's a thing called a thought stopping technique where, and they do it in like these spirituality circles and stuff where they tell you, you can't trust the mainstream. Anything mainstream is lies. Anything mainstream is lies. You got to seek the truth. You got to do your own research. Thanks for that phrase, though, because you know what? That do your own research phrase is what freed me, because in doing my own research, I realized that the people saying to do your own research were freaking wrong as heck, man. They were so wrong. But because I did have some training as a researcher, my degree was in writing, and for writing, you need to do a lot of research and things. And so I was already aware. I was kind of ignoring this part of myself, but I was already aware that in order to properly research, you must look at viable sources, peer-reviewed and all that. So I already knew that, but I was just kind of ignoring it because I had fallen for some propaganda, which told me that mainstream is lies. I fell for that. And I knew that there was something not quite right about it, but I found a place, a community, I found a place that I thought I fit in, and I didn't want to let that go. I wanted to be able to talk with those guys in the way they do. I didn't realize how wrong it was. I didn't realize how mixed up in bad things it was. I didn't realize. But now I do. And it's one of those things where once you see it and just acknowledge that and take it in, you can't go back. and I can't go back. And so I've just been kind of accepting the fact that, okay, I still believe in magic because I don't know, kind of silly, I guess. But also I'm mad at myself for that a little bit because I know it's silly. So now I kind of have this new mission to, and it's been hard. It's been a hard transition as a lot of friends and things have been like, some of my friends that the college friends and all that have been like very, they kind of fell for the anti-vaccine propaganda, and it has created some strain because I started recognizing, holy cow, I was on the wrong side of the information. And because, and then noticing that I was, it's been hard because now these friends, these people that I've always been able to call and have, and we'll talk about all these crazy ideas. And I wasn't able to do that anymore because now there was them spewing what I now identified correctly as propaganda. And I would try to point that out to them and be like, dudes, I used to think this, but I now realize it's wrong. That dynamic created quite a problem in multiple communities, actually, because another bit of propaganda I learned is there's this anti-woke rhetoric. And I mean, you know, it depends because there's a little bit of, I mean, I'm not saying that there's nothing to, you know, cancel culture had gone off the rails, but I actually don't think it's as bad as the anti-woke propaganda wants you to think. In fact, I'd say it's mostly reasonable at this point. But that was another issue with some community. Bad propaganda. They've been listening to way too much Jordan Peterson, that's I'm sure. And Joe Rogan. And I just started, but at the time, but I at the suddenly was like, holy cow, this is wrong, this is wrong. But I didn't yet have the language to fully back those ideas up because I was still learning. I had recognized, holy cow, I was eating poison. Let me get out of there. I started re-educating myself. And I just didn't fit in with those people anymore. I don't fit in with the people that I used to anymore. I don't fit in with anybody anymore. That's where I'm at. I don't fit in with anybody anymore because I don't know. I'm kind of sifting through different boxes and worlds right now. And so I was trying to like make the people around me think by like, you know, giving these ideas. But the thing is they weren't understanding the ideas because they had fallen for the propaganda that tells them I'm saying mainstream stuff, so I fell for the lies. It's so ironic. It's the trap. And that's what I was trying to explain. I'm like, you're in the trap. I was in the trap, but I got out. You're in the trap that tells you that the people like me and other people, other normie people, they're stuck in the trap. They're stuck in the lies. But here you are, you know, you special little snowflake. You're so special and smart and you have the real ideas. You don't fall for that mainstream nonsense. You listen to Joe Rogan. you listen to the non-mainstream, you know. You listen to like the wildfires of lies. That's what you're listening to. If you're that person. I was. And once I recognize this, I'm like, holy cow, I gotta try and do something about this. I gotta try to wake everyone up. But it doesn't really work out very well. Or it didn't work out very well for me. And because I hadn't quite figured it out yet. I still haven't quite figured it out. I'm getting there though. I've learned a lot, and I want to do something with that. I want to do something with that. Yeah. You listen to alternative science, stuff that tells you like people are shedding the vaccine on you, and you don't want the vaccine shedded on you because that could cause myocarditis. Never mind the fact that myocarditis is you're far more likely to get it if you've had COVID. Just saying. Far more likely to get it if you've had COVID. Anyways, I don't mean to rant. We're moving on from the pandemic and all that stuff, but I guess like and that's the thing that I've been trying to tell my friends is I'm like, you guys fell for some radicalized reactionary propaganda. I was in it too, but luckily for me, the pandemic made me aware of the propaganda. Amazing. I'm actually really grateful for this pandemic in lots of ways. I'm a much better, much healthier person than before it. I don't know. Woke me up. Anyway. But yeah. Because I know that there's this false slippery slope idea that a lot of my friends still in that circle are like taking a stand because they think that there's, I don't know, a possibility that the vaccine, I don't understand like why they think these things. If you actually do your research, which I did, because that's the thing, is I did my own research and I looked at both sides. And what I discovered is that there's tons of paperwork that proves that mRNA tech, I hate to call it tech because that kind of goes into conspiratorial where people think it's like rewriting your DNA and turning you into a robot or something like that. Everybody has a different idea, where it's killing your God gene. Everybody has a different idea. But yeah, there's tons of paperwork, decades old, of tests and things, and it's fine. In fact, doing it that way makes way more sense than the way we used to do vaccines. That's what I learned. And I learned doing my own research that one side had all of this evidence and the other side had a lot of people trying to sell you stuff. That's what I learned. Which is ironic given the rhetoric that they will say, they're just trying to make money. And I mean, okay, there is money being made in the medical industry, and that's something we need to address because that does create a conflict of interest. It does. But in this exact instance, the people making money are actually the ones selling the anti-vaccine rhetoric. Those are the ones making the money. Those are the ones that have something to sell. That's what I learned. That's what I learned. Very ironic. Anyway, and once I just got to the point where I couldn't tolerate being around that anymore. Is basically what happened over the past 5 months. Is I was like, wow, I was wrapped up in some really bad ideas. I need to get my head back in the game. I need to figure this out. I still haven't figured it out, but I'm definitely a lot closer. I'm definitely a lot better. I definitely feel a lot stronger. And I told my friends, I was like, it's just temporary. Okay, guys, don't freak out about the vaccine passports. And it's temporary. This is just something we're doing while we're getting through. Like, it's not like we're going to have to carry your arm around forever like you're afraid is happening. That's not going to happen because it's really freaking annoying and nobody wants to. And this is just a temporary moment in time that we're passing through. And guess what? I was right. Are we in and I started just recognizing the way, like I never knew conspiratorial ideas and stuff like that are actually like based in like this this history of anti-Semitism from a couple hundred years ago. Like, it's not new stuff, guys. This propaganda has been around for a long time. I didn't know that, and they probably didn't know that, but now I do. And yeah, there's this minimizing of the Holocaust, this trying to say we're being discriminated against for, actively making the world worse, basically, for thinking that we're above public health and safety, I get it. They're propagandized. They're in a psycho world. I get it. I kind of lived there for a minute, or at least I was always kind of on the fence about some things, because even with some of my friends, even back when I was like more into that kind of stuff, I still would sometimes be like, hey, this is starting not to add up, guys. I mean, law of attraction and manifestation stuff is real, but some of this stuff doesn't seem to make sense. Even then, and even still, I guess I'm still kind of that way. I'm just a little bit more on the empirical facts, data, science side, because I had fallen for a little bit of the all science is lies propaganda as well. So before, and that's really the insidious trap, that's really the insidious trap is the propaganda makes you feel like you cannot trust things you can trust. So now I'm taking up a stance of, not total trust, I mean, there's conflicts of interest and overreaches of power and things like that, but I guess I've just realized that the world isn't this scary boogeyman world that you think it is when you're in conspiratorial mindset. The world just looks like a much more friendly place to me now. And I think it is, I don't know. I don't think that there's these scary people that have the plan. First of all, no, humans are way too flawed to make a plan so perfectly. Way too flawed. In the past, I was like, but they're controlling everything, or I don't know. Even then, I kind of started to fall out of favor with those sorts of ideas of Illuminati and stuff. So I've been moving more in the direction of what I now recognize as populist rhetoric. But I now recognize that. So that's kind of where I was like, well, Illuminati, even when I was into that world, I was like, well, I don't think that the Illuminati is, like, I'm not so sure if that's real, but I mean, there are rich people that are sitting on billions of dollars, and the common man, those kinds of ideas. And I don't think that populist rhetoric is wrong, but I do think that there's a complexity there that I'm still unraveling. Yeah. Okay, let's see. What else do I want to talk about? I want to explore these ideas. Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I don't want to explore such controversial things. I really don't know. Something that I have been doing, though, is I kind of want to see if I can make law of attraction semi-scientific. So I've actually been doing some experiments, and I might do a video on this. Just, I don't know. It's fun. Of where I am testing the universe, you could say, and seeing if it can prove itself. And I've got to say, it's been a mixed bag so far, but I think I do have some data. I do have some data points here. I'll give you a sneak peek, since this is something we do on Zog's channel. Some kind of strange log. Can you read that? Anyway, I got some data points because I want to prove if it's true or not, just for myself, because I have had a lot of really weird things happen in my life. And even recently, oh my gosh, has it been that long since Anyway, I did see kind of a weird, I mean, I've seen UFOs and I've had friends that have seen UFOs and stuff like that. And maybe it's just like government craft or something, but I don't know. Mysterious. There's weird stuff out there. There's weird stuff out there. And I've had otherworldly things happen to me. And I don't, I, I I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I wish that wasn't, well, I mean, I don't wish that it wasn't the case, but it complicates things. That's what I'm trying to say, is it would be so much easier if I could just say, here I am back in my angry atheist state and, you know, F off spirituality. There's nothing correct about what you're saying. Only science, only empirical evidence. But unfortunately, I've had such weird experiences in my life and like really interesting things happen to me that I don't know. There's some part of me that's like, whenever I'm like, no, it's all lies. You fell for the lies again. And we got to get back into, you know, the world of the provable. And then my brain says, well, yeah, what about this thing that happened? What about the fact that some poltergeist opened your bathroom door in front of your very eyes? You know, my bathroom door opened on itself. I was just totally awake, just totally sober, just trying to pee. Okay, guys. There's stuff like this that have happened in my life that it's like whenever I try to just be like, only logic, my brain is like, well, what about this magical thing that happened? What about that weird thing you saw in the sky? What about that weird video your friend sent you of these weird lights encircling a black hole thing? That's a UFO. What the heck was that? You know, there's like all of these things that have happened to me and that have happened to my friends, and that my brain is like, well, what about that? And that's kind of something I want to explore, you know, but I'd like to do it in a more grounded kind of way because I think that would be more helpful for the world. Okay. I really just kind of wanted to get some stuff on my chest and get back in the habit of doing videos right now. I've still been doing my journaling. I've still been doing the bullet journal. Here is my kind of like sketch for March, since I like to give you guys these sneak peeks. I'm doing a lucky succulent theme. I did an exercise recently. Oh yeah, what the feb? I'm jumping around. Here's this moment in the stream where I'm kind of jumping around. I did want to say I might make a video on my what the feb experience because that was really amazing, doing all these art experiences with my friends. I did an exercise. There's this book by Struthless. He's a popular YouTuber, so maybe you know him. Campbell Walker. Yes. I don't know why I'm doing the Russian voice. Probably shouldn't do the Russian voice right now, to be fair. I side with the innocence of Ukraine, okay? Don't think that I was doing Russian voice because I think Putin is doing good, okay? Just putting that out there. Don't want any speculations. Probably didn't need to say that. It's fine. But there's this book. He wrote this book called Your Head is a Houseboat. And I've been reading it. I'm about halfway through. I did an exercise about things that you wanted 5 years ago and things that you want now. And what I've realized about myself is I used to be a little bit more all over the place, but I've realized that I've actually got a very certain path. Like I don't know all of the details, but I know what I want to do. You know, I know what I want to do. I know what my goals are. Yeah. I've realized that I'm quite unified, and that part of those desires that I've always had is to make a YouTube channel. I wish I would have done YouTube years ago, but truth be told, I told you a little bit about what I was going through back then, and like I was broke as a joke. I had, you know, I didn't have a computer. I barely had a smartphone that would work. I didn't really know how to do it, I didn't really know. And now I think maybe it's a good thing that I didn't have a channel back then. Maybe it's good for me just to start now, but I got to keep going, and that's the thing. So that's why I'm here, because I need to keep doing this channel. I just need to. I need to. It's one of the things that I want from my life. Yeah. Even if nobody listens, that's okay. Who knows? You never know what can happen. I enjoy this, and I need to do it in order to find my focus. So I've got goals here. I'm not going to share with you all of my goals, but maybe I don't know. Should I show you guys my? I'll just show you guys my bullet journal, since that's something I always like to do at the end of these streams. Apparently, look at this character I've made. My bullet journaling and my arts. I'm finding my way. I'm finding my way. Yeah. Let's see. I'm getting a little unfocused, guys. I should probably go. This has been an hour. I wanted to ramble, though. I just kind of wanted to ramble because I was feeling crappy. I was feeling sad because I didn't go to ladies' night, even though I wanted to. And now it's a freaking blizzard outside, and I hate the snow. And I just didn't want to waste all of my hair and makeup because I put some effort into it, so I figured, don't let this go to waste. Live stream, do it. Do it. All right. What else? What else? What else? I'm considering doing some reviews. In fact, I got myself for Valentine's Day, I got myself a whole bunch of snacks from Munch Pack. Have you heard of that? It's like a subscription box. So I just got myself a box of foreign snacks because I got my sister one for Christmas, and I was a little bit jealous. So I was like, you know what? I need to do something nice for myself for Valentine's Day, because I have a habit of just letting holidays kind of slip by kind of uneventfully, So I just wanted to make sure I had something nice. So I've got this whole thing of snacks, but I won't let myself eat them because I got this idea that I was like, well, I should review this. I should review them. So I might try that, just because I do actually watch a lot of food videos, and I've definitely food reviews is something that I've been watching a lot of lately, and it inspires me. I have an idea of how I want to do it, so maybe I'll try a very Zog way of doing it that I've not seen other people do before. So maybe I'll try that next. I don't know. I've also just kind of wanted to review products, because the thing is like I try a lot of products and like beauty products and stuff, and I actually have like some good knowledge that would maybe help people. I don't know. So I might try that too. I don't know. Maybe I shouldn't say these things. Ugh. Maybe it undercuts them when I do. I'm not sure. I'm just rambling. I'm sorry. Well, yeah, I had a really good Valentine's Day. I made sure I had an excellent Valentine's Day. And I got this heart-shaped quesadilla, not on the day of though, because the restaurant had these heart-shaped quesadillas and then they were closed on Valentine's Day. And I was like, what the crap? So I ended up getting myself Thai curry that night instead. And then the next day I got myself the heart-shaped quesadilla. And I gotta say, it was freaking delicious, man. It was freaking delicious. And I got myself some nice treats and I got myself a cute card. And I wrote myself a nice message. Tip, if you're alone on Valentine's Day, you deserve it. Write yourself a nice letter. That's what I say. Write yourself a nice letter. If you want to read my letter, go hop on over to the Instagram. It's up there. I did a Valentine's post. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I was just kind of getting in the habit because I didn't really know exactly what I was going to talk about when I turned the camera on, but that was kind of the point. Is I was like, you know what? It's been a while. I don't know if I remember how to do videos, so I was like, I don't know if I remember how to do this. So I was like, you know what? Just turn the camera on, see what happens. Blah 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 blah. So blah blah. That's what this is. Blah blah. Okay. Okay. Yep, I feel much better now. So yeah, thanks for listening to me. If you made it this far, you are a true champ, my dude. Leave a comment. Also, if you have something specific you want to see from me, leave it in the comments. Yeah. No guarantee I'll do it, but I'd be interested to know, because that's one thing that I'm still discovering about myself is I feel like, what's the thing that I have to give that people want? What do I have to give that people want? I don't know. If you have an idea, yeah, just let me know. Sorry, I'm getting a little uncomfortable, so I think I need to end this stream. I like to end it with something nice, though. What's something nice I can end it with? Let's read that. Wrote this yesterday in my journal. I'm doing a manifestation experiment as well. Just so you guys know, I'm doing a manifestation experiment in this journal. So I'll tell you how that goes. Because really, because in the past, I just wanted to believe it was true so bad. But now I just genuinely am like, I'm more openly curious. Where if it doesn't, then okay. I will tell you though, I did have kind of maybe I'll save that. Let's just say I did have some money that just popped out of nowhere after I asked for it. So maybe it is real. Anyway, a little sneak preview. I am realizing that I have a stronger sense of self than I realized. Doing these houseboat exercises, journaling exercises in that book, by the way. It's nice. It's a good book. I suggest you read it. It's fun. Doing those houseboat exercises has made me aware of how unified I am in my personal vision. Where there was once confusion, there is now increasing clarity. I know what I want. I know who I want to be. And that's me. Yo, Sammy Z. Thanks for being here. And I shall see you next time. This was fun. I won't drop off for so long. I promise.